nestled in the northwestern reaches of Callista, lies a place of unique wonder. Born from the ethereal Pharasite waters of the spine, the forest of Whitewood stands as one of the most recognizable regions in all of Mistralis. The exact nature of Pharasite's interactions with its surroundings remains a mystery, yet its effects are unmistakable. This remarkable area stands apart from the rest of the world and serves as the only known source of the white trees. The Pharasite waters cast a profound influence on the soil in their vicinity, absorbed eagerly into the heart of the encompassing flora. In a remarkable twist of nature, the Pharasite essence halts the production of chlorophyll within these plants, stripping them of their green hues and rendering them a ghostly white. Where typical albino plants would inevitably perish under such conditions, the Pharasite waters serve as an unconventional lifeline. This miraculous provision counterbalances the absence of photosynthesis, enabling the plants to subsist on the very waters that bestowed upon them their ethereal appearance. Naturally, this also means that Whitewood trees cannot survive if transplanted away from sources of Pharasite waters. Whitewood, a term misleading in its simplicity, refers not to a species of tree, but to a transformative affliction that emanates from the waters nearby. This curious blight endows the trees within its reach with timber of exceptional density, far surpassing that of their unaltered counterparts, imbuing the wood with unparalleled strength and resilience. The vast and varied expanse of the forest envelops numerous species, including ash, oak, sycamore, spruce, maple, and even willow, each giving rise to its own Whitewood variant. This transformation is not limited to the towering trees alone. Indeed, all forms of vegetation in the vicinity of the Pharasite waters undergo a striking metamorphosis, their hues drained away to render them a spectral white. A vivid marker of the water's profound influence on the natural world. Lumber may be a major export from the region, but it is not the sole marvel produced by the forest. The saps and resins of Whitewood trees are just as marvelous as their parent plants. Unlike typical tree saps, those from Whitewood do not carry nutritional value, as the trees do not engage in photosynthesis. Consequently, none of the saps discovered thus far are edible. However, they serve many other practical purposes and are much easier to obtain, as the sap can be harvested without harming the tree itself. Echoing the influence of Pharasite, the saps are varying shades of white. Depending on the type of tree from which they are harvested, they have varying properties. Some saps can be mixed with fuels to produce white flames. This is seen extensively throughout the capital of Balfourus, as well as many celebratory events throughout the world. Additionally, other saps and resins can be used to create an array of exquisite incenses and beautifully scented oils. Harvesting Whitewood lumber involves a crucial 1 to 2 step treatment process to prevent the rot and decay that typically begins once the trees are severed from their Pharasite lifeline. Initially, the lumber is placed in kilns to thoroughly dry out all moisture. This step is essential for hardening the wood's structure and ensuring its durability against breakdown. The second step is optional, but results in much higher quality. This step involves coating the Whitewood lumber in a finish. A layer of oil made from a particular Whitewood sap combined with Pharasite water. This finish enhances the lumber's resistance to corrosion and minor damages, maintaining its strength and resilience over time. Though these treatment processes add to the cost, they are vital for preserving the exceptional quality of Whitewood lumber, guaranteeing that it remains in peak condition for years after harvesting. This meticulous care in processing not only reflects the value of Whitewood, but also ensures its continued demand in various applications. The unique properties of Whitewood's altered timber rank it as the world's most sought-after and resilient lumber, rendering it exceedingly rare and valuable. Its unmatched durability and adaptability have made it the material of choice for an array of high-quality items, from tools and weapons to finely crafted small furniture, heralding a new standard of quality and durability. However, there exists one notable anomaly to Whitewood's universal acclaim. Bows remain the solitary exception to its dominion. The wood's augmented density, while beneficial for strength, detracts from its flexibility, rendering it less than ideal for the crafting of bows. Moreover, structures made entirely from whitewood are a rare sight beyond the borders of the forest itself. The majestic timber, while shaping the essence of countless artifacts, thus remains largely confined to its place of origin, a treasure guarded within the heart of its wondrous domain. Due to its rarity and value, whitewood is not typically used for firewood or torches. However, within settlements like Ashen, the lumber can be seen burning a vibrant blue flame. This marvelous sight is nearly exclusive to areas inside Whitewood itself. However, the very wealthy occasionally use these blue fires during special events and holidays. Standing as the capital of Whitewood is the village of Ashen, which is distinguished as Mistralis's largest settlement, fashioned almost wholly from the ghostly albino timber that define the region. Ashen holds the distinction of being the first human foothold within the mystical expanses of the forest, its roots extending deep into the annals of history, well before the kingdom of Covila was ever a thought. The exact age of this settlement is not known, yet its ancient legacy is indisputable, standing as a silent witness to epochs long past. The native denizens of Whitewood, esteemed across the continent as the Pale, are as much a part of the forest's lore as the ghostly trees themselves. Their deep-rooted connection to this land and its unique flora, cultivated through many generations, has become as integral to Whitewood's identity as the albino trees that canopy their homeland. Their legacy is intrinsically tied to the majesty and splendor of Whitewood. Ashen's exclusive exportation of whitewood lumber and other products derived from their trees to the wider world, coupled with its singular control over these productions, has bestowed immense wealth upon the denizens of the forest. Yet, the Pale are globally renowned for their remarkable humility, eschewing the pursuit of wealth and dominion. This community channels their considerable economic resources towards safeguarding their sovereignty, thus preserving the unique cultural identity and secluded way of life that define them. While Whitewood opens its arms to all visitors, becoming a beacon for global tourism, it also boasts astute diplomatic envoys stationed in every recognized kingdom. These envoys diligently work to protect Whitewood's interests and preserve its sanctity from the intricate and often perilous dynamics of kingdom politics. Through such vigilant diplomacy, Whitewood stands as a testament to resilience and serenity, undisturbed by the external machinations that fray the edges of other lands. Through countless generations of exposure to Pharasite water, the Pale of Whitewood have evolved a remarkable immunity to its adverse effects. For the uninitiated, consuming Pharasite water results in a host of unpleasant symptoms, including dysentery, intestinal inflammation, fever, and chills. While not typically fatal, these reactions underscore the water's virulence for those unaccustomed to its properties, offering no discernible benefits to its consumption. Contrastingly, the Pale's long-standing relationship with Pharasite water has led to a remarkable evolutionary adaptation. This profound symbiosis has not only neutralized the harmful effects for them, but has also ushered in remarkable benefits derived from their unique relationship with the water. This enduring bond between the Pale and the enigmatic waters of their homeland underscores a profound connection to their environment, one that has bestowed upon them abilities and resistances beyond the reach of ordinary humans. In a manner reminiscent of its impact on plant life, Pharasite water also affects the physiological processes in humans. The waters specifically inhibit the production of tyrosinase. This critical enzyme is responsible for melanin formation, and without it, the pale exhibit their signature albino phenotype. Their appearance is characterized by skin and hair of a pristine white and eyes that shimmer in shades ranging from the softest blues to silvers and muted grays. The diminished presence of melanin significantly increases their vulnerability to sunlight, necessitating a routine that leans towards a nocturnal or crepuscular lifestyle to avoid the harshness of broad daylight. This increased sensitivity to the sun's rays, however, is not an insurmountable obstacle for the pale, especially within the bounds of Whitewood itself. Their forest's unique ecosystem, awash with brightly hued flora that reflects and scatters sunlight, creates a natural sanctuary that mitigates the intensity of the sun. Here, the light filters through the canopy in gentle, muted beams, ensuring the environment remains cool and shaded, a relief even in the heat of the zenith. This peculiar adaptation of the forest's flora to reflect sunlight provides the pale with a comfortable habitat, allowing them to engage with the world during daylight, albeit under the protective and nurturing shade of their ancestral home. Beyond the sheltered confines of their homeland, the pale meticulously enshroud themselves in garments that leave little to no skin exposed, a practice born from necessity rather than discretion. The degree of sunlight sensitivity varies among individuals, but the practice of full coverage is widely adopted, not as a means of concealing their identity, but as a necessary precaution against the sun's potential harm. Through such measures, the pale can navigate the world beyond their borders, preserving their health while engaging with the various other lands and peoples that lie beyond their forest's embrace. The local fauna of Whitewood remain unaltered by the presence of Pharasite in the forest. The albino vegetation of Whitewood absorbs the effects of Pharasite, but the essence of the water is metabolized to sustain the plant life. Fauna consuming these albino plants are not affected by the traits of Pharasite, and local wildlife sustains itself on isolated lakes and independent rivers that aren't connected to the spine. Having learned of the harmful effects of Pharasite water, animals instinctively avoid drinking it directly, seeking cleaner sources instead. The infusion of Pharasite within the pale over generations has induced a unique physiological response, leading to a slight excess in the production of collagen and keratin in their skin's composition. This biochemical adjustment has endowed the pale with an augmented fortitude to environmental extremes and rendered their epidermal layers exceptionally stalwart. As a result, the pale possess a natural resilience against minor physical injuries, such as cuts and abrasions, as well as a higher tolerance to the rigor of different climates. Internally, the impact of Pharasite is no less profound, mostly affecting their muscular system. The presence of Pharasite promotes the secretion of certain inhibitors of myostatin, a protein that regulates muscle growth. This biological shift favors the development of type 2 muscle fibers, those responsible for quick, powerful bursts of movement, over type 1 fibers, which are geared towards endurance. Consequently, the pale exhibit an innate potential for greater physical strength, albeit with a tendency to experience fatigue more rapidly than might be expected. This distinctive blend of traits grant the pale unique advantages, as well as weaknesses. A widespread misconception among outsiders posits that the pale must consume Pharasite water as a necessity for their survival. This notion, though widely believed, is entirely apocryphal. While the consumption of Pharasite water is indeed a routine part of life in Whitewood, and the pale are the only known people who can drink it without suffering detrimental health effects, it is not a dependency. The pale are perfectly capable of subsisting on fresh water, much like any other population. While the genetic traits of the pale bestow upon them a myriad of remarkable advantages, these gifts are not without their own profound and challenging drawbacks. Their superior physical capabilities, a boon during the earlier period of their lives, embark on a swift decline as they advance in age. Despite their augmented muscular capabilities, the pale's bone density does not significantly surpass that of ordinary individuals, leading to a heightened susceptibility to osteoarthritis and other degenerative joint conditions in their later years. Additionally, though not universal, many elder members of the pale's community are prone to blindness, particularly in those who spend most of their lives away from the protective shade of Whitewood. A cumulative effect of prolonged exposure to the sun's harsh rays throughout their lives. Furthermore, the augmented collagen production that grants the pale their distinctive thick skin also bears an unintended consequence: diminished skin elasticity. This physiological trait leads to an insidious progression of lung tissue fibrosis, silently eroding their respiratory health. As they grow older, the pale are also afflicted by the onset of severe scleroderma, affecting the entire outer layer of their skin. This debilitating condition not only brings about excruciating pain, but also drastically changes their physical appearance, making them almost unrecognizable compared to their younger selves. The onset of Pharasite's cruel side effects tend to emerge in the pale as they enter their early 40s, precursors to a life expectancy that rarely surpasses 50 years. For them, passing from what normal humans would deem natural causes entails an agonizingly slow demise and is regarded as one of the most dreadful ways to depart this world. The end, when it comes, is like being trapped within their own progressively petrifying forms, a fate akin to suffocation and mummification while still conscious and breathing. This grim reality of their mortality could easily cast a shadow of despair over their final years. Yet, it is within this shadow that the pale find a profound appreciation for the fragility and beauty of life. Their culture, deeply influenced by the brevity of their existence, extols the virtues of living fervently and purposefully. They live with an intensity that drives them to achieve, experience, and contribute as much as possible in the brief window they have. The pale are driven by an insatiable desire to make the most of their limited time, to push the boundaries of what can be achieved, and to leave an indelible impact on the world. This collective ethos is not merely about personal fulfillment, but about etching their marks on the fabric of history, ensuring their stories, achievements, and legacies resonate in the hearts and minds of generations to come. In this way, the flame of their lives continues to burn, even after their physical bodies have departed this world. In response to the profound challenges characterizing the final stages of life for the pale, their society has developed a distinctive tradition surrounding the passage from this life. Recognizing the severe discomfort and loss of dignity that inevitably accompanies their later years, many elders opt for a dignified conclusion to their journey. This choice is honored through a deeply respectful ceremony, one that celebrates their life's achievements and contributions to their community. It's a time for accolades, reflection, and heartfelt farewells, as these venerable elders prepare to step away from the world, entrusting their legacy to those who follow. After these public ceremonies, in the privacy and sanctity of a chosen space, the elders partake in a final act of autonomy before their bodies betray them. They consume a meticulously crafted elixir, potent with several specially chosen toxins, often including those extracted from Dracolith venom. This mixture is designed to first induce a state akin to coma, ensuring peace and tranquility, followed by a cessation of organ functions, allowing for a transition that is both painless and dignified. This ritual underscores a core tenet of the Pale's ethos, that every phase of life, including its conclusion, should be faced with courage and intentionality. It's a practice that deeply respects the individual's right to end their life with grace, away from the suffering that their final years would otherwise bring. Through this profound act, the Pale affirm the dignity of life and the respectful acknowledgement of its natural cycle. These sacred ceremonies, integral to the cultural fabric of the Pale, are exclusively held within Ashen or other enclaves nestled in the forest of Whitewood. The intricate details of the Pale's culture, especially the nuanced understanding of their life cycle and the dignified manner in which they address the inevitability of death, remain largely veiled from the wider world. To outsiders, the profound depth of the Pale's traditions and the concept of embracing an early departure from life to avoid an unnecessarily painful death might seem alien and unnatural, perhaps even unsettling. Following these poignant ceremonies, the handling of the remains is carried out with a deep sense of reverence and in alignment with the last wishes of the departed. Some choose cremation, their ashes mingling with the air and soil of Whitewood, while others are laid to rest beneath the quiet beauty of the alabaster canopy. The tradition of inscribing the names of the departed on the oldest and largest of the trees of Whitewood ensures their memory lives on within the heart of the forest. This practice not only commemorates the lives of those who have passed, it embeds their legacy into the very essence of Whitewood, allowing the departed to linger in memory and spirit, forever safeguarded by the forest that was once their home and sanctuary. Given the relative rarity of the Pale, interracial relationships between them and the common folk of the wider world are rare but not unheard of. When such unions occur, the genetic traits of the Pale are almost always dominant. Children born from these mixed unions typically display the full array of the Pale's distinctive traits, notably their unique albino appearance, showing few outward signs of their diverse heritage. Importantly, the harsh conditions that afflict the Pale in the late stages of their lives are less severe in hybrids, endowing them with a resilience that their pure-blooded relatives lack. This fortuitous genetic inheritance enables hybrid descendants to live considerably longer than their pure-blooded counterparts, embodying a unique synthesis of vitality and enigma. The Pale are regarded as one of the most venerable cultures in Mistralis, and undoubtedly the oldest within the borders of Covila. While predominantly residing within the mystical borders of Whitewood, they are not confined solely to this enclave, and are also a familiar sight in many parts of the world, with Krisanthium being a notable exception. A widespread tradition among the Pale's adolescents is to venture beyond their forest home to explore the broader world. Motivated by a desire to experience the world's wonders firsthand, many young members of the Pale undertake these expeditions long before their twilight years, eager to fill their relatively brief lives with broad experiences and adventures. Since the establishment of Covila as a major kingdom, there has never been any recorded conflict between the Pale and the Covilans. The inherent dangers of Pharasite water, to those unaccustomed to its effects, have effectively deterred any Covilan ambitions to infringe upon the Pale's territories. Concurrently, the high demand for Whitewood lumber has cultivated strong economic bonds between the two communities. Over the years, the distinction between the territories of Whitewood and Callista has gradually faded, leading to a seamless integration of the two societies. Despite their distinct cultural attributes, they coexist harmoniously, intertwined by mutual respect and economic commerce. The exceptional physical capabilities of the Pale render them highly desirable collaborators in various industries around the continent, with two notable exceptions. The harsh sunlight of the desert of Krisanthium poses severe challenges for the Pale, whose sensitivity to sunlight makes this environment particularly unforgiving. As a result, very few of the Pale ever venture into the desert. Additionally, the soul fracture in the Pale's otherwise tranquil existence emerges from their tense relations with Amonddi, an equally sovereign region distinguished by its monopoly on Amondian steel, the second most revered metal in Mistralis. Amondi's operations, clouded by ethical ambiguities and persistent allegations of corruption, have long drawn the wary eye of the Pale. The seeds of rivalry were sown when the Ambrose family, which governs the territory surrounding Amonddi, explicitly banned any citizens of Whitewood from employment within their mines or forges. Though the decree was delicately phrased and articulated with a veneer of diplomacy, it only stoked suspicions of deeper malfeasance within Amonddi. In response, Ashen enacted a stern embargo against Amonddi, severing all trade of their prized products to the region. Amondi's workaround, acquiring Whitewood through intermediary traders at premium costs, failed to address the crux of the embargo. The measure was not aimed at economic sabotage, but served as a symbolic gesture from the Pale, a clear indication of their awareness and disdain for Amondi's questionable ethics. This firm stance underscored the Pale's commitment to their values, signaling a refusal to compromise their integrity by associating with a region whose practices were so very at odds with their own. Apart from the exceptions of Krisanthium and Amonddi, the Pale are a common sight in settlements across the continent. Their iconic appearance immediately setting them apart from locals. The Pale have proven themselves as noble and invaluable members of society, and their ancient homeland holds a place as one of the most incredible regions in all the world. Having endured for millennia, Whitewood and its people have weathered the worst calamities that history has unleashed upon Sallden. Their unyielding strength and resilience have established them as an integral part of the tapestry of their world. The Pale and their enchanting homeland of Whitewood are but one of the many vivid brushstrokes on the rich canvas that is Mistralis.